Knudsen,
What's up, Tursky?
this is Two Guys Talking Golf.
That's right. And this episode brought to you by Fujikura, the brand new Axiom iron shafts. And listen, Axiom is the groundbreaking new performance composite iron shaft from Fujikura, featuring the one and only Velo core technology from the Ventus shafts. So what you want to do is you definitely want to go out, find a Fujikura dealer near you to upgrade your iron shafts in your existing irons. Or when you get fit this season for a new set of irons, ask to try Axiom. Axiom is available in 75, 105, and even 125 gram weights with a variety of flexes. So it's you've got a range for everybody. Find a dealer near you to schedule a fitting for Axiom iron shafts at fujikuragolf.com/Axiom, AXIOM. So fujikuragolf.com/Axiom. Check those things out, man. They're nice.
Hey, you don't have to convince me. Don't be pointing at me like that.
Yeah, I'm pointing at everybody.
Good.
It's everybody out there.
Good. So we're all getting pointed at. Got it. All right, listen.
It's right.
Listen. We have a packed episode today.
Yeah.
We're going to get to you and your golf adventures today. We're going to get into Nolans, the Zurich Classic.
Yep.
A lot of equipment news coming out of there. But first, the biggest golf news. We got to send some prayers up to Tiger Woods.
Brutal, man.
Ankle fusion
Absolutely
surgery.
Brutal.
I guess it's like a joint just below the ankle.
Yeah.
Just a quick word to all the people being like, all right, it's time for Tiger to hang it up. Just shut up. It's too early for this. Tiger's obviously been in severe pain. You know, he's limping around. He toughed it out for the early part of the year, played the Masters, made the cut. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that he made the cut. And yeah, he's searching to get pain-free. I know it's another surgery. We don't know how invasive, what the process is going to be like for him rehabbing, what his plan is going forward. But at this point in his career, he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to take 3 years off and rehab and then play the Masters and then get another surgery and then play the Open Championship, like, he can do whatever he wants. And I think the people just like calling for him to retire on Twitter or Facebook or whatever social media app you use, just shut up. Knudsen, what do you got on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, we knew, watching the Masters, you could tell he was not, just the way he walked. You knew he was in pain. You knew something was bothering him, whether it was the leg. Now we find out it was the ankle, but you just could tell he wasn't kind of himself. And like you said, he gutted it out and made the cut. And, unfortunately wasn't able to finish. But, like you said, people to say, retire, get away, whatever. He's not built like that. Like that's like you and I would maybe go through half of the surgeries he went through and we would have called it quits and, whatever. But there's a reason why he is one of the greatest of all time. And that's because he just wants to be the best and he can't shut off that competitive nature that he has. And he wants to go play. He wants to win. He thinks he knows he can still win. So, again, and we don't know. I mean, at least I don't. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea what this surgery is. I mean, is it something that in the rehab for it is 2 months and he's good to go and he's back hitting balls? Or is it longer? I mean, we just don't know. And, maybe somebody out there who is, some type of foot surgeon maybe knows better than us. And if he says retire, hey, maybe he has a little more knowledge. But most of us aren't. And I think we don't really know what the status is now. And I think none of us want to see him go. I mean, we know it's going to happen eventually, but none of us want to see him actually retire and fade off in the distance because it's going to be a sad day in golf. It really is.
Very well said, Knudsen. I think I've made my point clear already. That's all I got on the topic. Just prayers up for him. Hopefully he gets to a point where he's pain-free, can walk around. He always references he wants to be able to play with his kids, enjoy his life. So that's priority number one. Let's get that out of the way first. Okay. Yep. You had the golf league start today.
Yep, we did. Thursday night men's league, baby. First week. I was super excited. I agonized way too long about what was going in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I might have pushed a little far. I might have gone a little far, putting a bunch of different things in the bag, stuff that didn't make sense, whatever. But That's what I love to do. It's I'm a club guy, and that's what I love. So it was a nice night, a little cooler than I think a lot of us expected. The forecast was a little chillier, but still a great night. Not too windy, not too cold. I was pants, vest, polo, and I was at the very end. It was starting to get a little chilly. I could have maybe thrown out a quarter zip or something, but it was yeah, it was a good night. I think everybody but one guy showed up in the league. One guy's still down in Florida, so we had a good turnout. All 23 of the 24 guys were there, and yeah, it was a good night. So I didn't play. Like I'm. It's kind of one of those rounds where I'm not really mad at it, but I'm not like jumping for joy.
Like, how bad did it go out there?
So from off the tee, and for the most part, even out of the fairway hitting shots, I was actually hitting the ball decent. I hit the ball off the tee really well. Played a lot of conservative shots. It was, there's a little bit of wind, so I was playing conservative, hitting a lot of hybrids and things like that. And but my wedge game and my putting, I mean, which again, this is my second time playing in 2023. Mm-hmm. I played January 2nd with a guy from our office. Who it was like a 50-degree day, so we ran out, found a course that was open, we played. So this is only the second time playing off grass this year, and the wedge game was just inconsistent. And I when it was I putted bad, I just could not get the ball in the hole. I lipped out a handful of shots. It was one of those, like, I look at what I did well and what I didn't do well, and they kind of equaled out, and it was just kind of an average round. And I just plugged along. I didn't make any huge mistakes. I just made a bunch of bogeys, a couple pars, and I ended up shooting 41.
Okay. 41's not bad. I was expecting to hear like 46, 47.
No, but the way I hit it, it easily should have been around in the 30s, and if the putter got hot, it could have got a little low. So like on hole 8, which is the par 5 on the front 9, is the longest hole in the course. I hit a drive, kind of hit a little draw, but I hit it decent, hit it dead center on the club face, just kind of hit it a little low left. Ran out, though, and I had like I think I had 235, but the ball was sitting up, and I had the burner.
Oh,
the mini
you
driver
played with the burner?
I brought it. I hit it twice. I brought it.
This is unfair.
I know. So I've got an 11.5 head, which is too low. So I hit it once off the tee, and I hit it once off the turf. So I was sitting there looking, and I was like, do I go for it? And I was like, you know what? I've made a bunch of bogeys, like, heck with it. Like, what are we doing here? Hit it dead solid. I can't hit it high enough. I need either the 13.5 head or whatever. The 11.5 off the deck is just, I don't hit it high enough. But I smoked it. Hit it dead center of the face, little baby draw, run it up on front of the green. So I'm on the green by like 2 feet. Yeah, pin is like basically middle.
In there?
I hit a little burner in there. And so I've got like a 20-footer for eagle. Mm-hmm. And I misread it a little bit, but not bad. I hit it to the hole, and I'm like 2 feet left. I just misread it. I thought it was going to break a little harder right than it did. Lip out the birdie.
A little 2-footer?
In par. Yeah, 2-footer lipped it out.
What kind of league is this?
I mean, it was just
Is it like you're putting everything out, or you have gimmies?
You can give me it. The guy I was playing was struggling, so he wasn't giving me much. He was a little quiet by that point. He'd had a rough day, and he really wasn't giving anything. So I putted it out. I mean, it lipped out. I had not even a foot, and I just tapped it in. But yeah, I had a 2-footer for birdie, lipped it out, and that was like my day. Like I lipped out a couple par putts that I just it was just that day where I couldn't get anything in the hole. I couldn't hit a wedge close. I just I was hitting at like below average shots, but then hitting it above average off the tee. So it's not bad. A couple guys went low. A couple guys shot 38s. My brother actually shot a 38. I think it's his best round he's ever shot in the league in his
he doesn't normally
his third year. No, not usually. No.
Immediate bragging rights right off the bat.
Oh, and the worst part about it, so I was in the last group. I was in the last group of the day. We get done, and we were playing a little slow because, like I said, we had a guy or two that were kind of struggling, and they were searching for some balls. So I put my stuff in my car. I'm walking in to go see the boys, have a beverage, and my brother and one of our buddies who just joined the league this year are walking out. So we stopped, talked to him. Hey, how'd you play? Whatever. Our buddy's like, yeah, I had fun, whatever. And then I told him about, I shot 41. And then my brother didn't even say anything, and I was like, "Oh, how'd you play?" And he's like, "I shot 38."
He was just waiting for
like,
you to ask. He was just waiting.
Just the casual,
That's dirty.
yeah, just like
That's
the casual,
dirty.
like throw it out there. So
He set you up.
yeah,
for
it
that.
was.
All right, I
But
got
hey, he played well. I give him
two
credit.
follow-up questions. You
All
said
right.
you went a little nuts with the equipment. Now we don't have to go through the
Yeah.
whole bag. For the people who respond to us in the comments on Instagram, YouTube, we are going to do a full "What's in the Bag" episode. I think we're going to do it next week. We'll do our head-to-head.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of changes. I know you just constantly week to week, so whatever
Yeah.
you say in that episode will change. But I think we're planning on doing it
For
next
sure.
week. So let's not go through the whole bag. Just pick out like two of your favorite experiments from the day, and then I'll hit you with my
So
second question.
So I think the biggest experiment, which I posted on the Club Junkie Instagram, the other podcast I do, I posted on there the full what's in bed that I brought today,
Okay.
which again, a lot of experiments. And the one question which I was like, this guy's spot on, was why do all your wedges not match in terms of shaft, brands, grind, like nothing, like there were nothing. So the wedge area was interesting, but I wanted to take, so I had my 52 degree, or which is 50, I bent it, is my old MG3 from last year. I got a milled grind 50, really like that. And then I had the brand new Cleveland RTX 6
Oh, okay.
56 in black. So I've got chrome raw face, all black wedge, the Cleveland RTX 6, because I wanted to hit it. I wanted to try it. And then the 60 was the brand new Adele SMS
Ooh, okay.
60 with the P grind, which is the brand new grind from them they just came out with. And so they had different shafts. Like the 60 had a Modus 125 wedge. The Cleveland had the stock like one spinner 115, and the 52 or the 50 had a BGT breakthrough golf technology zone ZNE shaft in it. So like no matching, whatever. Just a hodgepodge. But I wanted to try all the stuff. I wanted to hit the new P
That's
grind.
fair.
I've had it. I just haven't got it on grass. I wanted to go hit it. Same thing with the RTX 6. I wanted to hit those on grass, see how the turf interaction was, how they played. So, yeah, those things, if I'm building an actual gamer bag, are those going to be in the bag? Probably not. We're going to go something a little more matching. But I had some stuff I wanted to hit. But that was the wildest kind of part of the bag in terms of the setup.
Well, there's two ways to take that, I guess. One is that there's 14 tools in the bag. Each one has a purpose,
Yep.
and you got to find the purpose for each of your 14 slots. Two is I don't recommend anyone else do that ever when they're going out to actually
No.
play golf. Now, I do encourage experimentation. Obviously, we encourage that
Yep.
a lot on the show. How are you going to find what you want if you don't experiment with everything? So there's that, but
Agreed.
also, I mean, I don't want to call you crazy, but you know.
Yeah. It might have been a little too much. I admit that one might have went a little far with this bag, but hey, whatever. It was fun.
Now, my second question. We need a burner review, like a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you at with it? Does it play as good as it looks? The people need to know.
I'll tell you what, the sound and feel are phenomenal. Super muted, really like look. Because it's got a different sound than the Stealth, because it's got a titanium face and carbon crown. Much quieter than I thought. Especially the first shot I hit off the tee on hole 5 or 6. Hit it off the tee, really muted. I was really shot. Face is like really soft as well. You can really feel the ball compress. I hit it pretty much dead flush that day too. Does fly a little low. The 11.5 comes out a little. It comes out flatter. You get it up in the air. It's not like it's a worm burner. You have to carry a ton of speed. It's just a very much flatter trajectory than I expected. I expected it to kind of get up in the air super quick and be this kind of maybe a little sharper apex at the top of the trajectory. Actually came out pretty flat. It seems to be, I mean, I don't have a launch mount out there, but it seems to be pretty low spin from how flat it came out. And it was going pretty straight. Like I said, I hit a little tight draw off the deck that didn't get super high, but it went a long way. And then hitting off the tee, it was into the wind, and I hit it down there pretty far on 6, which I play this course all the time. And it was a little into the wind, and I still got one down there pretty good and had just a short wedge in. So, with just 2 shots under my belt, I'd say it's pretty powerful, and it's actually pretty forgiving.
What shaft do you have in there?
So the boys at TaylorMade sent it over with the UST Pro Force Gold 65 and regular flex, and I know I don't carry the speed like you do or a lot of other guys do, and I'm slowing down. But I put in a Nippon Regio Formula B plus, which a lot of guys haven't hit yet, but it's kind of their. It matches the Modus 120 in terms of profile, so it's a little bit mid-low launch, lower spinning shaft, and 75 gram X. So I had that in there, and it was a good matchup. I mean, like I said, feel on it was really phenomenal.
Would you go like a little whippier on it? Try to get the launch up, a little more spin, or are you going to do it with the head? Like, how are you going to go about this burner experiment?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I was talking to a guy in my group. I was playing with this guy Jay, who's an awesome guy in my league. He's a gearhead, just like us. He loves golf WRX. He's a big fan. So him and I were talking the whole day about just equipment, whatever. And I was walking down 8 after I hit my shot, and I was like, I still just don't know where I'd put this in my bag. Mm-hmm. I just don't see where it is. Like 3-wood, I hit that one good off the deck, but I just don't see myself consistently hitting off the deck. And if it's like a fairway tight lie, I just really don't know if I can hit it high enough. So I would say if I was going to further the experiment, I'd go. I'd want to try the 13.5 head, and I probably would go something a little higher launching, like a Kylie Blue or a Ventus TR Red or something like that. Something a little higher launching shaft. But I would kind of do those two things to see if maybe I could squeeze it in the bag. I just don't know if it'll fit for my game.
Well, we could really further the experiment along. I'll give you my address. You can send it on over here. That'd be a great experiment.
Yeah,
I'd love that one.
Yeah. No, I noticed that I was really impressed though, sound and feel. Like it's really, really good. I think the people who are going to put this in the bag are going to be really impressed with the sound and feel of the head. It's really good.
All right. Well, that was Knudsen's League. I'm sure we'll be doing some sort of weekly update on that because I find it very entertaining. We'll do a what's in the bag off or head-to-head what's in the bag. We'll have people pick who's what's in the bag's better. We'll run that back next week. This week, let's get into dessert because we did have some interesting stuff going on. I know it's a little bit more of a relaxed type deal down in Nowlands because it's a two-man event or a two-player event.
Yep.
The most interesting team out there, of course, John Daly and David Duval.
Yeah.
Now we've talked a lot recently about John Daly's setup. We've seen it, videos of it. We've talked about it on the podcast, all that. We have not seen David Duval's what's in the bag in like 3 years. So I was definitely excited to see what he was gaming. Shout out Greg Moore, legendary Golf WRX what's in the bag photographer. He was all over it. Got photos of everything in his bag. He was testing some putters, so I don't know if what's photoed in that Golf WRX forum thread will be the gamer putter, but we got everything else. What was your takeaway from Duval's setup? Obviously, Callaway threw the bag, so there's that.
Yeah, it was funny that you mentioned like we haven't seen it in a while. Like I kind of forgot he was on Callaway's staff. To be honest with you, I kind of forgot he was a Callaway guy, and he kind of signed with them as an ambassador a little while ago. I think the biggest standout is that he's still playing some big boy shafts. Yep. I mean, for being an older guy, a guy who could easily could play on the Champions Tour, all that. I mean, Speeder, the Speeder TR in an 857 in an Apex utility, that's a big boy shaft, man. I hit the 757 TR, and that thing is stout. Like that takes some effort to get moving. TR6X or Ventus Blue or Ventus TR Blue 6X in the driver, played a triple diamond paradigm. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty classic setup. I think a lot of Callaway staffers would kind of rock something very similar if you just kind of threw kind of a stock setting at it with TCB irons. Had it looks like a lot of the new grinds on the wedges. I mean, the W grind. I think he had 2 W's and what is it, like a J or something like that he had in there. So he had some pretty interesting stuff. The putter, the Toulon Garage is beautiful. He had that the Santa Monica is just a beauty, especially with that different milling on the face. They go to a kind of more traditional milling on the face instead of the diamond
with
one.
The dot for the alignment,
but just a cool
as well on top.
Yeah, the dot.
I love that look.
But
shout out Tiger.
Just a solid bag. But like I said, the biggest thing taken away was just looking at some of the utility iron KBS prototype 105X. The heavy boy in the in the Apex utility. So it's just kind of interesting to see him still bring in some pretty serious shafts, even, at a little older age when he's not carrying the clip head speed he had, back in his prime.
I love it. It was just, Duval's one of those guys. He's one of the GOATs in the gear world. Kind of an ambassador for custom gear and getting us all fired up back in the day. So just getting an update on him was cool to see. And I love, like you said, he's really playing like a current tour setup right now. And he's 51 years old. Now, him and John Daly, I don't want to say definitely won't compete, but they're going to struggle out there.
Yeah.
It's just kind of inevitable.
I mean, and John, I know he had full knee or hip replacement, just to be end of last year. I mean, is he even 100% to go? I mean, does he feel like he can really still swing it the same way? I mean, he's probably still rehabbing, still doing some physical therapy. So, I can't say that he's probably 100% either, which doesn't help.
Two legends, though, in the golf world in general. Two legends in our world of golf WRX gear. They'll definitely have the biggest galleries out there, I'm sure. It's nothing but fun. I'm happy that they're in the event. Really cool to see both of them out there.
What if you were able to go back and Daly, Duval in their prime? Would anybody be able to touch that duo? Like Tiger, Phil in their prime against Daly, Duval in their prime.
Are you saying golf-wise?
Yeah. Like
Tiger
absolute
and Phil
prime.
in their prime, I don't know if anyone's taken them. Including,
I'm just saying.
You know who. Jack Nicklaus. I mean, that would be a great match. Now, Daly and Duval playing a best ball format or like a scramble format, they could definitely fill it up. I mean, Daly can, if he's driving it anywhere near on the planet, they could keep up, but Tiger and Phil would be deadly. Come on.
I mean, I don't know Duval. I mean, Duval for that what is it? That short stretch where he was, number one in the world. The guy was an absolute killer when he put on the big Oakley shades. Look out, baby!
In his prime, his prime didn't last very long. I mean, he had 3-4 years. So if you hit all of them in the right window, it'd be an entertaining match. But Tiger in his prime could play with just the 7-iron. I think he'd be good. Almost. Anyway, we'll go from two legends to two other legends. Zach Johnson, obviously still active on the PGA Tour, but becoming a legend in his own right. Also teamed up with Steve Stricker, who I believe is
legend.
He's kind of getting up there. I think he's 56.
He's Champions Tour eligible. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but he in the field this week. And, of course, we had to dive into his what's in the bag. I was especially interested in the putter. Does he still have the white hot number 2 in there or what? Or has he changed? He is not. It's still in there. It's still alive and well. So we got photos, videos of it. It's up on the Golf WRX Instagram. Nice close-up view. All the dents, all the dings, the scratches, the pounds of lead tape on the sole. The white hot insert itself is not as worn down as you would expect because he did have it replaced recently. I think it was either 2019, 2020, just like a couple years ago. He had that replaced, and that was the only time he replaced it since he put it in play. So I wanted to catch up with Stricker this week just to talk about the putter. I mean, it might be the second most winning putter in PGA Tour history. So there's Tiger Woods, number 1 with the Scotty. I mean, that's not up for debate.
By miles. Yeah.
Then you got Jordan Spieth with his 009.
Yeah.
He's won a lot. Brandt Snedeker with his Rossi.
Yeah,
that's won a lot of money. But has it won as much as Stricker? Stricker has, so I was looking at just his career and results and trying to figure out exactly when he switched. Because I did ask him, he didn't know. He wasn't sure whether it was 2000 or 2005, 2006. It was so long ago, he can't pinpoint exactly. And through the photos, I couldn't. But we're thinking, I asked Johnny Wonder and some guys at Odyssey were thinking 2005. It was either the end of
Oof.
2004, start of 2005 is when he put it in. And he only had 3 wins before that. Afterwards, he had 9 more PGA Tour victories and then 12 PGA Tour Champions Tour victories. So that's 21 wins. And throughout his career, I think he has, it was like 43 million in career earnings, the majority of which came with that putter. So I don't
Yeah.
know where that puts it on the single club leaderboard, but it's got to be extremely high.
Yeah, I would think so. I'm trying to think of what like I was thinking like kind of like oh Phil, but Phil's kind of ran through. I mean, they're always like that heel shafted blade, but he had like 3, 4 of them, and he's gone through a handful of different ones. So one didn't win everything for
And there's
him.
Jack Nicklaus
But
with
you're right.
the George Lowe,
Yeah,
won a million
I
events,
mean,
but I think he's only won 5.6 million or 5.1 million in his career. Obviously, with inflation, if you adjust it, he's won like 560 million, but
yeah,
he's
it's
just not in the ballpark because, the prize money wasn't the same. So, like, if we're talking
true.
literally and technically, I think Stricker's putter might be the second most winning putter of all time.
Yeah, the other one that I think could be sneaky, and it'd be interesting, like you said, to see a list. I think the one that would also be sneaky would be Luke Donald's number 7.
Oh, yeah.
Because when he was like
He never
when he
took
was
that.
number
He
one in
didn't
the
take that
world,
out of the
all
bag
that,
until like 2
till
weeks
just
ago at the Valero,
yeah.
literally.
And I mean, at that time when he was like number one in the world, I mean, he won a ton of money with it. I mean, nowhere near Tiger or whatever, but I mean, I bet that thing's up there
He
in
just doesn't
terms
have
of
the
wins. If you
wins.
look
He
at that
never really
stretch,
won a lot,
yeah,
but he did
no, but
rack
he
up
was
money. That's fair.
he racked up money. He was racked up top tens like crazy.
So I talked to
But
Stricker. I did want to ask when he thought he put it in play and just his take on it being like the second most winning putter. He didn't really say too much. He just kind of agreed, like, yeah, I have one. I have won a lot. Um, but I'll just read some of his quotes here. I asked him if a particular moment with the putter stood out. He was like, I don't know, just the longevity of it in general and all the Ryder Cups with it. He's a big Ryder Cup guy, so of course he threw the Ryder Cup
yeah,
in there, and he did have that in play for a lot of his playing career in the Ryder Cups. He said, I've made some big putts with it over my career. That goes without saying. I tried to go away from it at times, but I always gravitate back to it. It's just one of those things that never goes too far away. Then he said he messed around with the wrist lock, and he actually won the
oh,
Bridgestone senior event with wrist lock. He was like, but that was just a one-time thing. Um, he does do his own lead tape work on there. He was like, I'm noticing my
I
lead
like
tape is
that.
starting to wear off and slide over. And he's losing some lead tape as it keeps going in and out of the bag, which is funny. He said it's probably around D2, but he had it at D4 to start the year. He also changed to a Scotty Cameron cord grip on that. A lot of Scotty Cameron grips are going on these putters
Yeah,
lately. That's JT, Rory, Stricker. Um, and then I asked him, where should the putter go after it finally gets hung up? Like, is it going to the Hall of Fame? Are you keeping it? Do you sign it and give it away? He was like, it's probably going to stay with me. He said my daughters pick it up every now and then and take a putt with it here and there. He said Jonathan Bird picked it up yesterday, as in like at Zurich,
yeah,
and Bird was saying, wow, it does feel really good. And then Stricker said, it's just one of those things. Feels good, looks good. It's been in my hand a long time. It's hard to look at something else in my hand. So it's in the bag still. It's just so cool seeing like, the dents out on the toe, the scratches all over it, the lead tape, and knowing that he puts the lead tape on himself makes it even cooler. So
it's awesome.
it's just one of those greatest of all time putters right there. And he is one of the
Yeah,
greatest of all time putters as well.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue. I mean, what him? I mean, you look at, yeah. I mean, over longevity. I mean, you can look at a guy like Jordan Spieth's been a great putter. He was amazing, but then he kind of fell off. Like Stricker's just always been a really good putter.
He just
It's
never
like
misses
him and
putts.
Ben
That's the
Crenshaw.
thing.
Yeah, like him and Ben Crenshaw. Just, I mean, they're two guys who just their putting is unbelievable, and it was their whole career. Like it's not just like they got hot one year, won a bunch of tournaments, and then they went away. Like it's all the time. It's because a constant. It's like gravity.
All right, so that's all I got on Stricker. We did do
I
a
noticed it.
full what's in the bag. He still
Yeah.
has SM4s in there, or he
Yeah.
has SM4
SM4.
lob wedge at least.
Yeah, SM4 lob and maybe no, he's an SM7 sand, a 4 lob, and an 8 gap wedge.
I should have asked him about
So,
that. Like,
or
how do you decide on which model goes with which loft?
yeah, he's still got Apex Pro 2019. I think they're dot heads. They made a smaller, kind of like shallower cavity dot head back when they made those, and they look. It's hard to tell exactly just from the photos, but they look like they might be dot heads. They're like a matte finish, which is pretty cool. Just an awesome looking set of irons. And I want to say he's had that Titleist H1 hybrid in there forever.
That was 2014, I think,
Forever.
that thing came out.
Yeah, it's
And then
still there.
he's still got the Fujikura Speeder motor shaft. You gotta love that. He was
Yeah.
talking on the range with someone. I just kind of overheard him, and I think he is doing like a little driver testing and trying out some new shafts, but he ain't there yet. He ain't quite there on the changing yet.
Those Motori Speeder VC 6.2, 7.2, whatever tour specs were just ridiculous.
I think it is
I
Motor.
think JT still.
Motor.
I think it's Motori. The Motori Speeder VC, the .2s, the tour specs were. I think JT still plays one in his is his 5 wood or 7 wood or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
true.
He still plays one in one of his higher lofted woods. So that thing's it's a legend. I remember that thing was the shaft when it came out to get your hands on.
I never personally played it, but I know it was the shaft. All right, so let's go from a goat to a king. And when we say king, we can only be referring to Scott Piercy, the lead tape king. So
Unbelievable.
his caddy strolls up, puts the bag down on the putting green. Me and Greg just kind of look at each other, roll over to the bag. Fresh lead tape job on the irons, and they are caked. He's got that like really wide lead tape, and it's stacked. There must be 14, 16 pieces of lead tape on each iron. And I just love how he does it. It's so fascinating to see like up close photos, and we have a really up close video on our Golf WRX Instagram where you could see, about how he applies it and where he puts it, and you can kind of figure out why. He's just the lead tape king, man. Slab citied out. Shout out to Lead Tape Chronicles. I know Lead Tape Chronicles was all over it, and we have had him on the podcast before.
Yep.
I know he gets a kick out of every time we throw something up with all that lead tape, but no one's got more than Scott Piercy. So thank you for keeping it entertaining.
I just want to know, I want to know the pitching wedge. What's that round circle in the middle? Like, is there a coin underneath there?
Yeah.
Is it like a penny or something?
Is there that would be so funny if it was like a dime or a penny.
Yeah. Like, what's there?
Is that legal?
Or did he use like a... I mean, I guess it's just a weight. I mean, I guess as long as it doesn't move, I think it would be legal. As long as it's stuck there. But the other question is, what's the swing weight on these? Like, how insane is the swing weight? Because, like, if somebody's, especially at pro level, like the Scott Piercy, if he comes in and he's like, hey, I'm playing standard length, irons, I want him to come in at D5 or, a heavier swing weight, D5, D6. I'm pretty sure Titleist can go into the boxes of heads and sort out some really heavy heads. Like, I know, even at the retail level, they do that.
But he's playing 680s.
Well, I know, but they still they're still making heads for him. He's not like finding those on eBay, I don't think.
They're not still making those heads.
I bet they
pump
out a few sets of heads for tour
heads from back in the day.
Yeah,
but
I bet they've had some made to have stock of for a few guys on tour and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess if they're 680s, even if you're still making them, you're probably not making a ton of them. But man, like, what's the head weight on that thing? Like, what's the head weight on that pitching wedge? It's got to be insane.
Insane.
It's got to be just crazy.
But we
and no club is safe.
Last year, I think it was in Memphis. Didn't he say they were like D7, D8 is what he tries to hit?
Oh, Just absolute
Yeah, which are
hammers.
hammers, but you see all that lead tape, you're like, what is that, Z4? That
Seriously,
X3
there's
you
only
got in there?
one. There's only one visible club in the bag that doesn't have a piece of lead tape on it, and that's his 57-degree
Hmm.
wedge, which is probably a 56 bent week. That's the only club that doesn't have lead tape
He's
on it.
got
I mean, we
SM4s
don't
in
see
there
his
too.
putter. Yeah, he's got some older wedge, but they all have tape except for the 56. His driver's got lead tape. We don't see his putter, so we don't know if his putter has lead tape. But every club is not. Like, there's no safe club. Like if you're a golf club in Scott Piercy's bag, get ready.
You ain't safe.
Lead tape's coming. Yeah, lead tape's
You're not
coming,
going off
boys.
the rack into the bag. You're getting taped up.
No, you may get all built and show up beautiful in the bag, and then nope, lead
It's
tape.
prettier with the lead tape on it, I think. But it's hilarious to me that like these irons and wedges aren't anywhere near even a decade old. Like they're way older than that. And then
Yeah,
he's just got the new driver. It's got the new TSR. I think it's a two, but even that's got lead tape out on the
on the
toe. Yeah,
toe,
yeah. He's just got the best bag.
and it's so. I mean, he's got the utility 4 iron that's just slathered on there. I mean, it's just an awesome bag, and a guy like that who goes through as much lead tape. I mean, what's his lead tape budget every year? A
His
couple
lead
thousand
tape
bucks,
budget. I don't think he's
couple
worried about the
thousand.
lead tape budget, but it's probably more than me or you.
Yeah, Titleist Tour Truck lead tape budget is higher than any other OEM out on
I think
tour.
he does it all personally. So it's a personal budget.
Oh,
Maybe he writes it off as a business expense. It was just
the
tax season, so
IRS
next
is
time I see him, I'll ask him.
yeah. The IRS is auditing him to see there's no way you could humanly spend that much money on lead tape.
He's getting audited for the lead tape.
The lead tape.
That's a good joke.
I did on my wedge put a little piece of lead tape with like a little crown and SP on it,
Yeah,
and I
that was
left it
great.
on, and it was in my bag today. I actually played
No
with it. I
kidding.
kind of forgot it was there and played with it. Yeah, played with the Scott Piercy homage, or is it homage wedge? Yep.
If you
So
want to see what Knudsen's talking about, head on over to at TG2 WRX. That is the Two Guys Talking Golf Instagram page. I know that we don't give
yep.
that page enough love. We don't post enough on there. So we're going to try. I'm not going to
We
promise, but
yeah.
we're going to try. But if you want to check out Knudsen's ode to Scott Piercy, the Lead Tape King, check that out. All right,
Oh,
let's bring it back to New Orleans a little bit here.
all right.
We have the TaylorMade Dumont head covers. That's what I'm calling
Oh
it.
yeah.
It's TaylorMade's
Yeah,
custom
I know.
head covers for Cafe Dumont, which is a famous New Orleans spot for um, coffee, beignets.
Yeah, little pastries.
What else?
Never had
What
one,
else do they
but
have there? I don't know what else they have, but there's a lot of dishes with powdered sugar all over them, and it's a New Orleans staple. It's got like the green and white striped awning out front. They also
yep.
sell like pastry mix and then coffee grinds in like this yellow packaging that's super yellow. Um, TaylorMade, as they do, made some custom head covers for the week, and I thought they nailed it with the green and white stripe mallet putter cover, and then they did the metal woods with the yellow, and then on
Yeah.
the inside of the metalwood covers, they had the green and white stripes. Like, I think they just nailed it.
Oh, did
I
they?
think they just nailed it. And I think they are actually available. I'm sure it's going to be a limited edition thing, but I saw a TaylorMade Instagram post where they were actually selling them. So you can get your hands on them, and all the TaylorMade guys had them on their bags this week. Greg Moore, obviously, got photos of them. So if you want to check those out,
Of course.
Golf WRX forums is where you go, or at Golf WRX Instagram also has some TaylorMade Dumont
Dumont.
content. What do you got on
I
there?
just jumped on their web. I just jumped on their website, and it looks like all of them, all three, the wood head cover, the mallet, and the blade head cover, all available still right now.
Okay.
So if you want one, I would suggest snagging them fairly quickly, because these limited editions like this typically do not last long. I think they're super cool. I mean, the mallet cover is just really cool with the awning and all that, like right on it. The blade doesn't do a whole lot for me. It's like a dress shirt with a bow tie to kind of like signify like the waiters and stuff. That doesn't do much for me. It's okay, but the mallet cover is really cool, and yeah, and the wood cover is pretty cool as well. Not heavy. I've never been there. Never been to New Orleans, so I can't say that I've ever experienced. But I do like the head covers a lot. I think they're really cool.
I was very surprised to see anything custom head cover wise from a brand, just because it's not, it's not a designated event. It's not a big time event. It's not a major, but I love it because this event is especially festive with, the 2-man teams and it just being the culture of New Orleans. So yeah, that's pretty cool that TaylorMade did that, and I thought they pulled it off. So there's the TaylorMade Dumont. We had a very surprising amount of prototype action. And I know that you wrote a lot about each of these topics. So what I'm going to do is I have 4 different prototypes listed out, and I'll just let you rock with your take on them. I'll give you the floor. All right. We'll start with the PXG Dagger Plus. Knudsen, what do you got?
Yeah, the Dagger. It's kind of an old school look. It's interesting with this one to bring a prototype because I think it is going to come to retail in some fashion or possibly is already. But PXG putters I think are kind of underrated. But this is kind of an old school, simple mallet style. It's got a really wide flange on it. The flange is a very interesting alignment aid where it's got 2 straight lines that kind of frame the golf ball and then 2 dots that would be in the dead center. Kind of an interesting way to frame it.
It's like a little smiley
It is center shafted.
If you look at it a certain way.
It kind of does. But it's a really small blade. It sits face balanced, center shafted. And yeah, it's just kind of like an old school look when you look at it, but then you flip it over and you've got, the common PXG interchangeable weights that you can get different weights for to kind of dial it in, and then it's got 2 high density tungsten weights that are permanently attached out at the toe and the heel. So it's the look that isn't for everybody. It's kind of Zach Johnson-y. It's kind of something like kind of along the lines of something he would play. Not everybody necessarily love it, but if you like kind of old school retro-ish putters, definitely kind of worth looking at. They're good putters too. I've played the Battle Ready stuff, and it's pretty solid.
Next up, Odyssey White Hot Versa 7 center shafted. What are we looking at?
This is one that I'd love to kind of know the full blown story because the bottom sole. The White Hot Versus back after 10 years of being away. They brought it back, so it's a black, white, black, like all the new Versus are. But it looks like it started life as an S head, which is a little slant neck. So a little slant neck down near the heel. Got some toe hang to it when you have that little slant neck. This one, center shafted, but it still has the S badging on the sole. So I don't know if they maybe cut the slant neck off and then welded on a post for the center shaft, or do they come as blank heads and the tour department could weld on. I don't know, but it's interesting that it was, or at least is designated as an S head. Twin 15-gram weights up near the face, the interchangeable ones on the sole. And then at retail, there's just a sight line on the top line of the putter, just a single sight line, back to the kind of OG white hot number 7s with the triple dots, triple white, 3 white dots on the top line for alignment.
You're a number 7 guy.
Center shaft.
You get all happy when you just say the number 7.
I love the number 7. The one question that I have on it, and I actually tried to hit up Johnny Wonder on Instagram, and he didn't answer my question, was the face. Well, he didn't answer. He acknowledged, like he saw me. And he said, like, no, he didn't give me an answer. I just asked, I didn't get an answer because I want to know this one here. And I've seen a couple Odyssey prototypes kind of floating around that the tour ones, the insert is a white hot insert, but it's got like a really heavy texture to it. It's not as smooth. Like a regular white hot insert isn't like perfectly smooth. Like it's not like glass smooth. It's got a little texture to it. This one seems to have like a really heavy texture to it, and I've seen a couple others on tour, and I want to know, is it something that is influencing feel? Is it making something a little softer or something like that? Is it muting the sound, or is it a texture that is going to influence like spin, hop, and skid? Is it something that's going to add a little more forward roll? Is it going to add a little, backspin or hop to it for certain players, depending on how they bring the club into the ball? That's the one that I'm kind of interested in. The biggest part of it is what's up with that face, and I haven't got an answer yet. So I hit him up on IG in the comments on a post he had about another putter, and he acknowledged that it's different, but he didn't tell me what it is yet.
Well, more friction on the face always makes sense to me. If you need help getting a response, maybe I'll have better luck. All right, next up,
Yeah, hit him up.
We got the Titleist Pro V1 X Plus, played by Scott Piercy and Billy Horschel this week, I believe. What do you got?
Yeah. Basically, we haven't got a ton on it yet. The one thing that we do know is that, or at least that we've been told, a little higher spinning version. So Titleist has their CPO program, which is kind of some custom products for, it basically starts at the tour level, and then sometimes they filter down into stuff that we can purchase in kind of limited quantities. They produce it for us at retail, but looking to be kind of a higher spinning Pro V1X. And they said, yeah, Piercy, I think you said somebody else was testing it as well and might be close on it on tour. But yeah, Horschel. But then also Titleist has said they've seen a little more traction on the LPGA Tour, where some of those players are looking for a little more spin, especially with the driver, the top end of the bag. They're looking for a little more spin, keep the ball up in the air, have a little more control, things like that. So right now we know it's a higher spinning Pro V1X. We haven't heard, does it feel different? Does it have, different core, anything like that? We just don't know, but we do know it spins a little more than the retail model.
Whenever I hear something is gaining momentum on the LPGA Tour, that's like alert going off. That's what the average golfer should be looking at.
Yeah. Oh, I want to try. I'm a Pro V1X guy anyway. I was playing Pro V1X today. I'm a Pro V1X guy. I love it. I would kind of like to see what the plus is all about.
Well, we don't know how long it's going to be until you can try.
If ever.
All right, last one. KBS putter shaft prototypes. Hit us with it. Lots of colors. Lots of colors.
Tons of colors. GPS, man. That's the big one. So KBS has kind of been in the putter shaft game. I mean, they're well known for iron shaft, wedge shafts, but they make hybrid and wood shafts, and they made putter shafts. They made the interesting one step that had kind of a thick handle section and tapered down really quickly to a thinner section that going into the putter for enhanced feel. They made the CT Tour, which was kind of a stiffer, more stable steel putter shaft, and now they're coming out with the GPS, which is the graphite putter shaft. So they're jumping into the graphite putter shaft arena with some other folks, and they're basically doing what everybody else is doing. They're making a extremely stable putter shaft that resists twisting on off-center hits, can soften the feel of the putter a little bit, and just adds consistency and stability to those putts, as well as, kind of stabilizing the head, especially for longer putts. But interesting, yeah, it comes in, I think it's like 5 or 6 colors that you can kind of take your pick with. But yeah, the GPS seems to be pretty cool. I'm excited. I'm hoping to get my hands on one here soon so I can give it a roll.
And that was Prototypes with Knudsen. We'll see you next
and they're 120
for more.
And they're 120 grams
information.
And they're 120 grams. But
so I just have one last topic. Last topic for you guys. I did talk to Fitzpatrick this week. He's coming off the win at Hilton Head. Obviously won 2022 U.S. Open. Just won at Hilton Head. Kind of an upset over Spieth. But
yeah,
we got to focus on Fitzpatrick's irons this week. He's still playing ping S55s, which he's not the only one out on tour. So it's not like completely ridiculous that he still has these irons in the bag, but they are 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, they're old. I'm not as familiar with like kind of the ping timeline.
They're over 10 years old.
Yeah, they're definitely been around for a while.
Over 10 years old. We got the full what's in the bag, so if you want to check that out, Golf to Rex forums, you know where to go. I wanted to ask him personally why he still got those irons in the bag. Have you done all the testing and they just keep winning out? Like, what's the deal? And I'll leave you with this quote. this is for you, really. This is for, I guess, all the people who want to experiment and change things, and even for the people that like feel their irons are getting too old and they have to upgrade or else they're not taking advantage of technology. This quote's for you. Okay, he says, and I quote, I feel I've had success with them, so why change them when you're in winning form? That's the big thing for me. I tested other irons a couple years ago in the summer, but these are just the best for me and they fit well. I don't want to change and try and do anything too different. I just want to stay with the same. Pretty simple right
There
there.
you go.
Pretty simple stuff. Sometimes you just don't need to overthink it. Like if you're playing well with something, nothing's sticking out as an issue. It's not spinning too much, too little. You're not playing terribly bad. Then nothing's wrong. Just keep them rocking in the bag. It's when there's issues that pop up, and I always just encourage people every year, try some new technology out and see if it's the time. But yeah, if there's nothing wrong, don't change. S55s are still working for him. There's a couple other guys out on tour that still are playing the S55s. You could probably get the S55s for like $200 a set. Just saying.
Yeah. I wonder what a set of those would cost on a side. I bet they cost more than that. In good shape, I bet the ping stuff holds its value, especially some of those classics. You can get a set for S55s about just under 400, between 340 and 400, depending on condition and how many irons. Right about.
But yeah, I thought it was cool that he still showed up in New Orleans playing the event. He's playing with his brother, Alex Fitzpatrick, who kind of talking to him for a second. He has some status on the Corn Ferry Tour, so it's not like he's just a scrub golfer, not a pro or anything. He's really good, and they actually showed up in the first round of the event. We did record this on a Thursday, so we have the benefit of seeing the first round. Let me just pull up the leaderboard real quick to verify. They are okay. They're tied for second. They were tied for first as of a couple hours ago, but they're T3, one back. They shot 10 under 62 today, so pretty. Fitzpatrick's Matt Fitzpatrick. He's obviously on a heater. I'm sure Alex was a little nervous joining his brother in a PGA Tour event right after the win, but he's stepping up to the plate, holding his own out there. So it's got to be an exciting week for those two boys, and the parents, I'm sure, are very proud. Probably very proud moment.
Oh yeah.
So it's cool. Just a nice little family affair there. I know Bettinardi did some custom Team Fitz head covers for those boys. And that's all I got from Nolans. I think it was a fun episode. I always like hearing, especially about the first round of the year. We'll be back next week. We'll probably have a little bit of equipment news from Mexico, but me and Greg will not be traveling south of the border. So I'm feeling like it's going to be a good time for us to do the head-to-head what's in the bag contest between me and Knudsen. So if you're into that kind of thing, next week is going to be pretty fun.
All right, I'm excited. I'm going to have to narrow a few things down. I may have to go hit a few balls this weekend to ensure that I can lock a few things into place, because I haven't. I've only locked a couple pieces in so far, so I've got to make sure that I get a full bag, locked, loaded, and ready to go.
And hopefully I have the 11.5 TaylorMade burner mini driver by next week, so I can put that in my updated what's in the bag setup. I'll get you my address. Oof. And that was two guys talking golf. We'll see you guys next week for the what's in the bag competition.